Okay, we've looked at how taste buds and food choices are influenced by politics, but the next 3 or 4 videos, we're going to be looking at other kinds of experiments that aren't so much uh, tracked in with genetics. Today, we're going to be looking at, or right now, we're going to be looking at Colin Firth and the amygdala. So this is Colin Firth. He was a Oscar-winning actor who starred in the movie The King's Speech. And he won an Oscar for the King's Speech, so that's what he's for. Anyway, he had a question, and he was willing to put his money behind getting an answer to his question. This is an extremely rare situation. Usually, the government funds academic research or industry funds it. Sometimes the university puts some money behind its professors' research. It's very rare for an individual to actually fund academic research, but this is he did. He commissioned a study to find out why people didn't agree with him. He thought, it's so obvious to me that liberalism is right. Why might people not agree with me? What the researchers did, these are the researchers in London did, they asked 90 subjects how they viewed politics from very liberal to very conservative. They put it on a 5-point scale. Then they did an MRI on each one and looked at the anterior cingulate cortex and the amygdala. And their goal was to figure out whether political orientation had anything to do with error detection. So they did a bean test, and a bean test is basically where they put up beans and you have to figure out what's different between the pictures. That's a rough summary of it. And when does something change? The results of the bean test is that liberals spiked high during the bean test, and very liberals spiked the highest so you're supposed to basically hit a lever when you see a bean, and liberals, and then they've got a brainwave test going, and when they no go, when you're not supposed to hit the button because you're not seeing a bean, liberals' brains kind of spiked really high. The amygdala, the reason they thought to use the amygdala is that in part determines your fear response. The larger your amygdala is, the greater you have fear in your life. And so one of the kind of real world implications of this is when you're out in the wild, because you're always out in the wild when you see tiger. When you're out in the wild and you see a tiger, what do you do? Do you run away? Do you fight it? Or do you stick around and study it? Do you want to know what's going on? The larger your amygdala is, the more likely you are to run or fight. The smaller your amygdala is, you're more likely to study it. Now, both instincts are actually useful for evolution. If you run or fight, you're more likely to survive and pass on your genes. But if you study it, you're likely to bring information about how other people can survive back to the group. And so being able to, having this variety is actually useful for society, and evolution protected it. Kanai and Reese did a political orientation study, and then they did brain scans, and they found that the correlation between amygdala volume and political organization was quite strong. Conservatives had a larger amygdala. So what we can determine from this amygdala study is that one of the reasons conservatives are conservative is because they have higher levels of sensitivity to fear. Again, if you've got higher levels of sensitivity to fear, you are more likely to want a highly structured environment, which would diminish risk. If you are more internally tolerant to fear, then you are able to be open to new experiences and things like that. Okay, here's another study. There were actually, I think the study goes into the next one. I got an extra slide in here, so I'm sorry. We're going to stop there.